Hey everybody, it's day 356 of Training Daily Excellence. My name is Brad Gieske. Today I'm here with,
Coach Davis Soma from Manyata Slums.
and we're going to talk about the factors for motivation. In today's class, we talked about these factors, and really our whole theme was on motivation. How do you motivate your teammates? How do you motivate the players that you have on a team if you're the coach? And so we broke it down to these 5 things. Number one is empowerment. You have to find a way to empower your players. We said empowerment was if you take the EM and make that an in, and then power, meaning the capacity to do something big, and then you tie those together. So the power to do something big within themselves. And that's how we termed empowerment.
Yeah, and we really get to know that whether you have the players, the good players or the bad players, at least motivation matters a lot for them. And you have to empower them, you have to make them feel that they are capable of doing everything you want them to do. And your motivation behind them will really, really push them and make them do whatever thing you want them to do. So, indeed, motivation is the key to success for these players. But also, I can remind you that you have to maintain your attitude whether you are performing or not, because that is when you motivate your players.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that leads to the next one, relationship.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a relationship with your players, they're not going to buy into it and you can't motivate them. If they don't like you, they're not going to listen to you. So you need to find a way to know about your player on and off the field. You have to care about the individual before you'll ever be able to motivate that individual. They have to have a buy-in.
Yeah, this is because being that you are a leader, remember that you are a key figure for these guys. You are like a father, and if you are a lady, then you are a mother to these. And so you have to support the structure. You have to keep them going by so relating with them so well, and even enriching to their family, the parents, and all that, the teachers, so that you can support them through. If they are kids, then they have to also to take the education. So it matters a lot, and we have really to keep working together and really motivating, and also relationship has to be good.
Absolutely. Which brings us to our next one, appreciation. I told the coaches, never have a player on your team that you don't appreciate. If there's a player that you don't appreciate having on your team, then seek out another opportunity for them where they can be better served. Because I think that's a huge limiting factor in the soccer culture. A lot of players get thrown under the bus in the system and aren't cared for appropriately because they play for a coach that doesn't appreciate them. Every single player deserves to be appreciated. If you're a player that feels unappreciated right now, believe me, there's another coach out there that will find you and will appreciate you, but you got to start looking for them too. So, next piece is appreciation. Appreciation allows you to go about motivation.
Indeed, let us appreciate our players, and also if you are appreciating your players, you keep them going. But if you can have a player you can't use for a longer time, then the better you give the player an opportunity somewhere so that he can keep on showing his talent or a talent, so that that one can take her to the top.
Absolutely. Which now we're talking about responsibility. Responsibility really means that you're going to go out of your way for that player in order to show that you care. And then in return, either that player or others that recognize your efforts will then support your efforts and will lead to a stronger, more cohesive relationship. So this is one, responsibility ties to all of these factors. It ties to life, but responsibility really means that you're taking some of the burden of something challenging and you're taking that on for the betterment of a group. And that's something that allows you to then go on motivating the people around you. Because it's hard to respect somebody who doesn't have responsibility, that doesn't have to make any game-changing decisions. But the moment you become a coach, the moment you become a player that's a leader on your team, you take on that responsibility to make those game time decisions. And I guarantee you that's going to be something that's motivating to those around you.
Yeah, responsibility matters a lot, because as a coach you have to be responsible, and once you are responsible, you are not in a position to be take carried away by the pressure of your players and the rest. So you remember that as a person who is responsible as a coach, remember you have to care for your players, and you also have to remember that responsibility is coming. Like at times you risk, at times you sacrifice. So for sure you have to be a responsible person throughout. You handle your team, you handle your players, and you make them feel that you care for them and you love them.
Absolutely. And last but not least, you have to be an example of what you wish to see in the culture of what you're growing. So if I'm a coach that tells my players, hey, absolutely no cursing on this team, yet I get upset and I'm cursing at the referees, or I'm cursing at a player that does something wrong in the game, or something that I perceive as wrong, I'm not living as an example. And so my actions don't align with what I'm saying that I value. When that happens, you lose the opportunity to motivate those around you. People will be motivated by your life if it's honest, if it's truthful, if you are a representation, an embodiment of the values that you tell them are central, that are core to their culture, to the group. Then that example will allow you to motivate others, and people will follow that example.
Indeed, you have to remember that once you are as an example to your players, you really make your players to long to be like you. So you have to remember that as a person who is the example, you are a mirror to your players. So if you behave so badly, then that is what they will take. So remember, whatever thing you do, your players will be following. So you have to be a good example to everyone and to your players, so that everyone can admire to be like you. So we really have to keep on going to the top, and that's the only way to go.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you tomorrow.